Cowboy Carter wasn't as good as Renaissance.
What about Lemonade?
Renaissance definitely should have won probably the best album in the category she was nominated in. And we're coming off a year where Lemonade 2.
Yeah.
We're coming off a year where previously Jay-Z won the Dr. Dre Impact Award or whatnot. And he used his speech to pretty much say that my wife has not ever won an album of the year.
She's got a bazillion other Grammys, though,
She
right?
does. I mean,
Like
I think she has the most Grammys of all time.
Like, who cares?
But
I mean,
she has her body of work is very good. It's very good.
Sure.
But Taylor Swift was in some of these categories.
She's like in all of them.
And she didn't take home anything. And mind you, Taylor Swift is America's sweetheart.
Just a correction year, maybe.
Taylor Swift, when I saw Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish basically in all those categories, I was like, I mean, like I said on this show before, I was like, you know what, Beyonce needs to stop showing up to these and being disrespected.
I mean, I heard Billie Eilish had the best album of the year. But
Billie Eilish had a good album.
She had a good album, you know.
But Lone, didn't I just say? I said earlier, it's like they threw you a couple bones. Killer Mike last year, and then this year it's another bone.
But that's what
it feels like?
Is it them throwing a bone, or is it them like really? Because the thing is, I can
only
make,
time
I can
is going to tell that.
It's cyclical. It's like we have this conversation every like 3 years.
Yeah, but I can make it. You know, I can make a. I like Cowboy Carter as much as I like any individual Beyonce record ever.
I don't like any Beyonce albums, so
you know, I
know that I'm the anomaly.
Yeah, and I'm not, you know, I'm not a country music fan, but I loved Texas Hold'em. I love that record she did with Miley Cyrus. Thank you.
That one won an award.
That one won an award as well. You know, and so
was Spaghetti on that album?
Yes.
That wasn't a country record.
Well, that's the thing.
That's a lot of the conversation.
That album is not 100% country.
Yep, that's a lot of the conversation. That's where
I feel like
there's a lot of pushback about that specific topic. Lone, it's not a country album.
So I could, if people want to get mad,
riling up the white folks.
Yeah, I could.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, because it won country album of the year where it wasn't nominated for any of the CMAs. They didn't.
That's what makes it even more polarizing that she won, bro.
That's what makes it funny.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of upset people. There's people saying that Post Malone is more country than Beyonce.
Don't get me started.
I hate to have to give Beyonce.
Is she not?
Beyonce is from born and raised in Texas.
So
this
just because you're in Texas doesn't mean you're country.
She is country because she's from Texas.
Okay,
it's like people would consider us country because we're from Indiana.
But even though it doesn't mean we make country. But we're not. We're talking about country music.
That's not where I was going.
Okay.
She's from Texas, born and raised around country shit. She probably came up on country music the same way as another country artist.
I can dig all that.
You know what I'm saying? She has every right to make a country album as a person like Post Malone does. Post Malone doesn't know where he wants to fit in this.
Or
thing.
like Jelly Roll is made.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
He's a country artist.
And the thing about Jelly Roll is he has a whole group of people that don't know who Jelly Roll was prior to him making country. Jelly Roll was a rap artist.
Tell him.
Who did a whole lot of songs with Lil White and 3-6 Mafia in them. And now all of a sudden he's a country artist. And I don't see any fault with what he's doing.
I'm just gonna say this: if it was wrong with Jelly Roll, then it's wrong with Beyonce.
I didn't see any fault with what he did.
You know, that's all that I would say.
My thing is, we talk about Post Malone. Post Malone, he does whatever.
He's whatever he is.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't see anything wrong with what Jelly Roll does. I'm saying fan wise, for Jelly Roll, there's a lot of fans that he has that has no idea of his catalog beyond this album that just came out.
Sure. Agreed.
So you can't sit there and tell me that Jelly Roll is more country. Definitely not a Post Malone is more country.
That's
than a
fair.
Beyonce.
That's fair, I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I can
point.
concede that. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but at the same time, like, it's kind of a slap in the face to country music. If like it'd be the same thing, like if like I don't know. If
I need you to know, because I know you got a good one. I need you to know.
It would be like if, I don't know, Linkin Park came back and they made like a rock rap album, and it was mostly rock, and they was rapping sometimes, and he won best hip hop album.
Well, it was mostly country.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like, yeah, there's like maybe 2 or 3 songs that we were like.
Yeah, it was.
I will give her that.
That sound
But
like,
if we're talking about,
it was a country. It was a country
definitely
album.
like
because
Lone, it's like
because like you can listen to certain, like Taylor Swift won her first Grammy for a country album.
Yeah,
You know, and like
and she crossed over to the pop.
ain't country sense.
and so like you can understand where like honestly, how are we counting how many twangs are in it before we call it country?
I guess that's my
Maybe
argument,
it's I don't
right?
know how to quantify
to
what
me,
makes it a country album.
for sure. I think that's where I'm coming from. I kind of take Beyonce out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't this in general? We can bring it back to potentially Jelly Roll and potentially Post Malone. Does this just bastardize the whole genre of country music if people can just jump in and play along with the aesthetics of whatever a country music record is? Win the award just because they're a big artist,
But
and
I
then
think
go and do something else. Like, isn't that kind of the same?
I think what Terry said though about her being her authenticity from being from down there, I think that's the part that makes her different from someone else.
My argument,
Does it, though?
This is my argument.
Plus the record having 85-90% of the records being country records. Those two things.
The only reason I brought that up is because of the fans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking as far as obviously she's country because she's from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm more so talking from the standpoint of a fan saying I'm not watching the Grammys anymore because Jelly Roll and a Post Malone is more country than Beyonce. And actually, I've witnessed this conversation firsthand. I was in a doctor's office and there were people in there, this was months ago, who were having a conversation amongst themselves, and I made a point not to enter the conversation because I didn't want it to go there because it's kind of irritating me. They was talking about how, I didn't listen to Beyonce's country album. Like, they didn't want to even listen to it.
They didn't want to acknowledge it.
They didn't want to acknowledge it. So they were like, Post Malone, his country album is really good. So like, you can listen to his country album,
Right.
but you don't want to even acknowledge this album.
And that goes to the stereotypes and the racism and all the stuff related
Exactly.
to that.
And
Yes,
they were
for
saying
sure.
that he's more country than Beyonce is,
Right.
which is 100% not true. Especially when we talk about, I don't know where Post Malone is from, but we know what he paraded as when he came into the game, regardless of what he did before.
I feel like he started out as country, but honestly, I don't know a lot about.
No, he
Post
kind of started
Malone.
out as like a
Before the White Iverson
like a,
stuff.
Yeah, we don't
weird
know.
like folk type
Yeah.
something or another.
Saying that,
Acoustic.
and then that goes into like the definition of like what country music really is, right?
Good point.
Because country music could be a whole lot of things. Because you could say, like you said, like there's like the culture of being country, and then there's country music. I would say Beyonce is from the culture of being country, but she's not from the culture of country music. And I think those are two different things. And I think that's an argument that I see often in the defense for Beyonce.
It depends on what you define
but
country
I say,
music as.
but I feel I feel like people use that in defense for Beyonce, in defense of the racism that she is receiving from the fans that are doing exactly the same thing that you said. It's almost like two wrongs almost don't make a right type thing. It's like, I don't know. Like, I just look at it in general. Like, I don't think I'll ever look at Beyonce as a country artist.
I don't think she wants you to.
No, nor will I.
Yeah.
Nor will I.
And she kind of addressed that during one of her acceptance speeches, as far as artists being able to participate in genres that, and since they feel like shape them. You know what I'm saying?
But hold on. But she didn't win for best country album. She won for best album. Though,
No, she
right?
won Best Country Album
won
too.
Best country
both.
album and best record.
But she won best
She won Album of the Year.
Best album of the year. Yeah.
So to me, that point is moot. It doesn't matter if
That's
she.
what I'm saying. I don't know.
Maybe
if it was that
the country,
particular
maybe
one.
the country category.
yeah.
But
That's
as far
the
as
one.
like best album of the year, I don't think that matters.
Nah.
The country album of the year is the one that has everybody in a
Got you.
tizzy.
But the wild thing is because when I see she wins Album of the Year and then Country Album of the Year, but then she does, like when she doesn't sweep the other categories, usually there's a precedent for that.
Yeah.
You know, okay, then, but she still loses to Rhapsody, which that's why I was like, that's why when, you know, at the end, when I watched the end results and I saw how I was like, how did that happen? How did Beyonce lose in these, I don't want to call them smaller categories because they send you the same
They
Grammy
are
regardless.
smaller categories though.
And when album of the year and country album of the year. That means you're supposed to basically sweep everything as far as the voters are concerned.
Because Kendrick put his stamp down this year.
He did.
Every category he was in, he won.
Yeah.
He did.
So like, it was so when he wins record and song of the year, like there should be, it makes sense that he won rap performance, rap song.
Yeah, math ain't
and so there's something
like Outkast. When they won in multiple categories before they won album of the year.
Right.
Yep.
Same thing with Lauryn Hill, same thing with Alicia Keys. It's like, okay, if you win this, then if you win this, basically it goes from top down.
Yeah.
So if you win album of the year, you're gonna win this, you're gonna win these other smaller categories, and that's how it's done for Beyonce. But that's the thing. They'll give her all the other awards, but won't give her album of the year. Never won't give her album of the year.
That's why it feels like a redemption type of situation here. Because to your point, she'll go to the awards and sweep every category,
and they'll put the camera on her,
and then won't win album of the year.
And they'll watch Beck walk up on stage,
or Taylor Swift.
Yeah. We remember, we were outside.
Or Adele. Like that's why when I saw that Taylor Swift was, when she got up and won last year, she announced her tour, a new album. I was like, Beyonce might as well just stay home.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
I'm glad she didn't listen to me.
The biggest tour that's ever been pretty much accounted for. Her tour that she just finished up actually here in the city.
Yeah,
so her not cashing in is
not getting anything.
That's the biggest shock to me. Her not, to Terry's point about the sweetheart thing, it's not even close.
I want to give her a shout out though, because Taylor Swift be at these shows enjoying herself.
She does.
And she definitely gives props where props are due.
Sure.
And she's never disgruntled about whatever's going on.
That's a good point.
So I want to give her props to the artistry that she does, whether I listen to her personally, but she is like a solid artist. And when we talk about anybody that could have had a lawsuit against somebody, she could have sued the shit out of Kanye.
She could have, but you never see her bitter.
Yeah,
you never see her bitter.
Never.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'll give her a shout out on that. I don't like to see her every time Kelsey scores a touchdown. But she's a solid individual as far as it goes, as far as an artist is concerned.
You might as well not even watch the Super Bowl because them cutaways going to be crazy.
Yeah, she's going to be in there. But I ain't mad at her. She be having a good time at these shows. She be having her drink in her hand.
Yeah, if I saw her
dancing. Nah, for real, man. She be having a good time.
And Caitlin Clark was in the booth.
You know what's crazy? Like, she seems to act like she's one of those people that I feel like actually has an appreciation for other artists. Like,
she be knowing the lyrics and everything.
Yeah, so because some people just sit there with the
she was out
sitting on their hands waiting for their time to get acknowledged, and then
she was out there getting it, not like us.
Yeah.
Oh man, that must have hurt Drake's feelings so
much.
much.
Yeah, it did.